Alright, well, welcome everyone to another episode of Crypto Corner, your crypto radar for all of the latest news, reviews, market analysis and tutorials that help you master the cryptocurrency markets. Well, today we're having a slightly green day. I mean, it started quite bad. Yesterday we actually fell, just after I posted my episode and my technical analysis, we fell below the support that we had established, and during the evening and late yesterday we actually fell even to 40k in Bitcoin, which was quite a significant drop. It took the whole market down with it, so it's no surprise that today, even with prices slightly above yesterday, we're already seeing a lot of green across the board. However, we're still in a correction in this we are still in this corrective mode, and we cannot actually escape from it. So Bitcoin is dropping below support levels, which is not great, meaning going to lower support levels. I'm going to go in the chart of Bitcoin, and today I will just talk about Bitcoin because this is really the driving force of the market right now. We see that as Bitcoin fell below 44,000 yesterday and below 42,000 even, really all of the coins went into severe all of the coins dropped with it, and in fact we actually saw some really good accumulation prices. ADA went to $2.14 I think at some point. I mean, Solana went to below 140. I mean, these are definitely accumulation prices. Make no mistake, we are not canceling the bull market, we are not going into a bear market. This is a correction. I keep saying it and I keep repeating it. Now, I saw a few videos about people talking about Bitcoin dropping below 30,000 and all of that. This is not going to happen. Another very popular video of another YouTuber friend of mine who's talking about the Wyckoff method a lot, but I feel that he's now kind of everything he sees is the Wyckoff method. So I'm going to talk about this when I go into the charts as well, and I'm personally not quite certain that we're looking at a Wyckoff method distribution at this point, this time around. Last time back in May we were, and I will actually go into the chart to look at the Wyckoff method, how it is distributed, and what we are currently doing, whether it is in fact the same thing or not, and you be the judge of it. You decide for yourself whether we are in a Wyckoff distribution pattern, which, if we are, is not very good news for us at all, because it would mean that we have to go below, or if not below 30, we'll have to go to around 32,000 or 30k, this kind of low prices for Bitcoin. I don't really think so. I don't see it happening. For me, this is not a Wyckoff distribution. I'm telling you straight away. But let's go in the charts first and have a good look at Bitcoin and see what's currently happening with this correction that we are currently in. This episode of Crypto Corner is sponsored by PrimeXBT, an award-winning multi-currency trading platform which offers access to hundreds of assets, including cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, EOS, Cardano, and many more, hundreds of forex pairs, commodities, metals, oil, gas, and others, and indices such as S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and many more. To provide the highest level of liquidity and instant order execution, PrimeXBT aggregates feed from 12 industry-leading exchanges and feed providers. They have 4 base currencies: Bitcoin, Ethereum, USD Tether, and USD Coin, plus their native COV token. Most importantly, PrimeXBT is the exclusive home to co-vesting, a peer-to-peer copy trading module that features a 5-star rating system and global leaderboard that supplies followers with the success and risk metrics that they need so they can make informed decisions about which strategies to follow. This is an automated trading feature that allows novice traders to leverage the skills of more experienced traders and collect profits in a very hands-free and kind of a done-for-you type of a system. It's all done on autopilot. Once you start copying a trader, all of the trades that they execute are being also executed in your account. You don't have to do manually anything, and you can always stop the copy trading at any point that you want. I have been testing this service already, and I shared with you my experience in this video, and also I did a very thorough video on Prime XBT where I explained all of the different features of the exchange. You will find these links in the description below. What I really like about this exchange is the fact that you don't have to share your ID or any other sensitive data with them. KYC is optional, it is not obligatory, and they have some of the lowest fees on the market, which I also really like. I also have a welcome bonus code that is in the description, so give it a try. Make sure that you use the links in the description below. So what can we see here? This is the daily Bitcoin versus US dollar. Well, we actually fell below the support that we established yesterday. I was talking about in my yesterday's episode this green zone here, which was acting as our support, and I was thinking that perhaps this is where we got stopped and we are not going to fall below that. However, we did. We fell below that, and in fact I'm going to extend now my C line here, this ABC correction that I'm talking about from yesterday. As we know, the C wave has to actually go below the A wave, and yesterday we were not really that far below, we were here. So clearly it wasn't completed. I thought it will reach our 200 moving average, the purple line here, and it will get stopped there, but we did actually go lower. We went all the way to that green zone here, this lower support that is actually at 40,000. We even broke below it very briefly. We managed to break below it. If we go on the 1 hour chart, we're going to see that this happened within 1 hour. So we managed to break below this, and very quickly we got rejected from there. The bias steps in and we climbed back above it. So currently we are still hovering around this green zone here, which is, I said, my ideal buy zone. Now, do I still think so, or do I think that we can go lower and we can have even better buy prices? Yes, that is possible. We do have, again, we have this green line here that is acting as a support at 40,000, and below that we have a 38,000. Is Bitcoin going to 38,000? Well, now that we're at 43, we are really not that far from the 38. If we go to test this support, I will not be surprised at all. At this point, we also have a lot of fear kicking in. As you see, this is the fear and greed index. It's now at fear 27. Yesterday we were up in the middle here, and just last week we were in greed. I don't think we went into extreme greed, but we definitely touched the greed, which is the green zone here. So now we've gone into fear, and this combined with the falling volume that we're experiencing in a while now, we could actually argue that there is room to actually drop more and go to the 38,000, establish this as our strongest support, which currently it has been, I mean, a few times, but currently we are yet to test it. So we have to come to here, retest this support, establish it as a support, and then take the next wave on the recovery. So I feel that we still have some more room to drop lower at this point. Now, some people pointed out on YouTube, I saw some of my fellow YouTubers talking about this looking like a Wyckoff distribution. And I agree, it really looks like a Wyckoff distribution, and I've already talked about the Wyckoff method in previous videos, so you probably already know about it, or if you don't, there is a great article that you can go and find out about you know, exactly the different phases of the Wyckoff method, how it works, you know, how to identify it and everything. There's a few different phases actually. There is also accumulation and distribution. So right now we're actually talking about distribution here, and if we agree that this looks a lot like it, then it's painting quite a grim picture, because as you can see, we are somewhere here in the Wyckoff method distribution. If this is, I don't really think it is though, but we're just starting to form the falling. Earlier on, when we were back in May, this here was a Wyckoff method distribution, because we did have clearly at this stage here, which is I'm gonna skip here probably. It's for those who are not familiar. Okay, let me quickly explain here. So we have actually a few impulse waves and corrections. We have the preliminary supply wave, where after a few pumps and continuous going upwards, we actually have a correction, and this correction is where we see a lot of unloading and profit taking, and you know, basically the supply outweighs the demand, so we have a correction, after which we actually have yet another wave upwards, a buying climax. These are basically the ones who are late to the party, these are the late buyers, and it really pushes the price even higher, but at some point it gets rejected, and then we have the automatic reaction, which is an even deeper correction, even stronger correction, which usually comes down all the way to where this correction took us and really established this as a support level. However, after that we have a secondary test which fails to reach the previous high, and it actually makes a lower high, and after that we start going into a more corrective mode. We go into the sign of weakness stage here. This time it goes lower than the previous correction. It goes lower than this automatic reaction, indicating that we actually have a lot of weakness here at this point. And we have another uptrust. It goes up and corrects a little bit, goes up and pulls back a bit, but then it goes up to a new high, higher than the previous high. So all of this was observed here. We had the preliminary test, then we had a bit of a pullback, then we had the next uptrust that took us to a higher high than the previous one, then we had an automatic reaction and we corrected heavily. We corrected pretty much to the same levels where the previous correction took us. Then we had a secondary test, just kind of going upwards, trying to reach the previous high. We got rejected from there. Then we had an uptrust that took us higher than the previous high. So all of these here, all of these steps were actually observed. This is the uptrust that actually took us higher than the previous one, after which we actually went into a corrective mode. All of this here is basically this one that we are seeing here. And then we had yet another uptrust. This is the uptrust after the test. So after we already tested, we had one last uptrust, and then boom, we go into a very deep correction that took us more than 50% downwards. And it's this one here. This is basically going into this last point of supply, and then another sign of weakness, and then last point of supply, and then going even lower. So this is what happened over here. Is this the case with this current correction that we are going forward? I'm not really convinced that it is, because if you say that this is the preliminary supply here, then we went and we made a new high, like it's expected from the buying climax, right? So if this is our buying climax and then we correct it, then why are we making a higher high? We should be having a weakness. We should be having this secondary test that fails to go to the previous high. In this case, we actually went to a higher high than the previous one. Even if you say that I'm counting it wrongly, and maybe this was our buying climax, then after we pull back and we do a secondary test, we should not be going higher than the previous one, but we did. So we went higher than the previous one. So basically this here is not really playing out correctly. It doesn't really work unless we assume that the secondary test, which is this high here, was basically this green candle, and then we had the uptrust. But not really, because we have to correct after this secondary test. We have to correct, we have to go to show the sign of weakness and then have an uptrust. We didn't really do that here. So to me, this doesn't really look like a Wyckoff method. And I know that the Wyckoff method videos are very popular, and everyone, because it is a complicated thing, everyone is just watching these videos and thinking, oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. No, I don't think so. I feel that in this case, we're not going through a Wyckoff distribution right now. What we are doing is an ABC correction after such a strong rally here, which is something that in bull markets is observed very often. So to me, this ABC correction is pretty much over. Perhaps we will go to the 38,000. It is possible. So we could actually go and do this C wave here. In fact, if I draw some Fibonacci's here, we are going to be able to establish where exactly we are going to stop with this ABC correction, if it is to play out according to the rules. Okay, so this is where the A wave went, right? Just below the 0.382 Fibonacci level, which means that the C wave could actually be stopped at the 0.50 Fibonacci level. Most often though, it actually goes to the 0.618 Fibonacci level, which is this green zone here. And I can move this line a little bit so that we can actually make it a bit more precise, but this is why I was talking about 38,000. 38,200, in fact, this is. And if we are to correct properly, to complete this ABC correction, I would be expecting us to actually right now go to that 0.618 Fibonacci level, which we haven't done that yet. We got stopped just below the 0.50 Fibonacci level. This could be the end of our correction. I'm not saying that we have to go to the 0.618, but it is also very likely that we will, because ABC corrections often actually go to that 0.618 Fibonacci level. So am I expecting a 38,000 Bitcoin again? I'm not exactly expecting it, but I feel that it is possible, and even right now it is a very likely scenario to happen. I still feel that the 40,000 is a strong support, and this proved again, we just literally went to the 40k and we got stopped out there. However, this correction is not over yet, and as the sentiment is weakening and we are going into fear, possibly even into extreme fear very soon, I would expect us to drop lower, and in this case we could actually go to all the way to the 38,000. Am I expecting us to go lower than that? No, no way. I really don't see Bitcoin dropping below 38,000. Now there is no point estimating what the other coins will do, because unless Bitcoin stops this drop, they're not going to stop falling. So right now everything again is depending on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is completing this correction here, and if Bitcoin is falling below 40k, you have to be prepared for all of the altcoins to be dropping even more than right now. So if you still haven't purchased and you still have USD Tether or other stable coins or fiat that you are keeping and you're waiting to buy lower, you still have a chance. There is a chance that we will go lower than that. It is not 100%, nothing is ever 100%, but right now the likelihood of this happening is quite high, meaning that you could actually just keep some of this money and wait for lower prices. You can also start buying already, but I wouldn't go full in. Right now I would be buying with just a portion of the money that I'm keeping, and I would wait for possible lower prices, because it looks like we could actually get Bitcoin and other coins much cheaper than they are right now. Well, this is everything for today's episode of Crypto Corner, everyone. Thanks for staying until the end. I hope this brings you value, and if it did, please share it with someone else who would also benefit from the information that I presented to you here. Show your support by leaving a like and a comment below. And please ignore all of the spam comments. There's loads of this. I know as my channel grows and gains more popularity, I get tons of spam. I would never share my phone publicly or invite you to WhatsApp me, so these are scammers. Don't reply to them. Also, make sure that you check out the links in the description below, where I list all of my top crypto services, exchanges, wallets, my top charting tools for market analysis, and my 2 ebooks, Learn Crypto, the ultimate beginner's guide to investing in cryptocurrencies, where I share with you all of my mistakes and everything that I've learned in my 6 years in this industry, and Crypto Jargon A to Z. This is my complete crypto dictionary with almost 1,000 terms and acronyms and trading slang that you should know. It is an Amazon bestseller, and it's now in its 3rd edition and at a super low price offer as well. If you want to be on my mailing list and receive my bi-weekly crypto newsletter, the link is also in the description below. Trade carefully and stay profitable.